So it's time to get the display mounted up. There's the display. Put that out of the way for a minute. And what we're going to do, here's the bracket that's got to go on the mill, and that is going to go there. Now I've already punched that first hole. I'm not going to do the second one this time until it's actually bolted up in place, and then I'll use a transfer punch to suit this size hole. So there's that one. I've double checked I've got enough clearance for a socket and a spanner on here, so that's not going to be an issue. Obviously we've got room there, so that's good for the moment. So let's grab the drill. I'm just going to move that handle out of the way. We'll get the drill now and we will drill. Let's mark that, do my thing with a bit of tape. See how much this bolt is actually going to stick through. Might use some shorter ones, because obviously we've got this section here that goes behind, and that's only probably about 20mm thick there, and that bolt is actually sticking further than that. So I don't want that going through. That will actually touch this part and bind up. So I'll make sure I actually get some shorter screws. They're M8. These ones are, what we at here, M8 by 35. So let's go see if we've got any. We don't need much sticking out of this bracket, to be fair. Protruding out the back is about 28mm. Ideally 15 will be enough. So let's see what we can get there. Let's see if we can find some M8 by 20s. I'll find them and then I'll count some other bolts. These ones were M8 by 20, and that gives us about 12mm sticking out the back side of the bracket, and that is enough that it won't go through this section here, and it won't go through into this. So also with the tape, as I always do, I've marked the drill so that that won't go through, and I won't drill through into that either, and I won't have no unexpected slippage drilling through any parts of the castings either. So let's go ahead and drill these. As I said before, these are M8. Try and make sure you're straight when you're going in. In both planes. That's good. Nearly there. Right, airline again. Now let's bolt the bracket up with just that one, so we can get the right position to do the other one. There we go. It goes in there nicely. We use just a little plastic level. That's roughly where we want to be there. So we can mark that one now. Got my hammer and punch here, although I'll try and find the correct size for that. It's a bit smaller there. About that one. Let's go in the middle. Perfect. Right. There's that marked. Take this back off. Let's get that one drilled. So we've got holes drilled and tapped. Let's get this put on there now. This time round, the holes actually line up, so yeah, always worth bolting it up with one first before you attempt to eyeball the second one and centre punch it. Do it first, measure it properly, and then you won't end up like I did on the knee, doing it twice and having a couple of spare holes in your casting. So let's just see where that's at and just tap that up. As good as that one gonna get. Won't go too mad with that, because it also comes with these 4 little grub screws to sit in each of the corners, so that if this face is on an angle, we can use these grub screws to level it off and sit it nice and even. So if I put these in now, and then once we've got the arm on the bracket, I'll put the spirit level on that and see how we are, and then if I need to, I can use these grub screws to level it out. So this is quite a good idea. This is the best bracket that comes with the kit, to be fair, compared to the other ones for mounting the readers. They're a little bit off, a little bit out, holes a little bit wrong, length's a little bit wrong. Considering it's a Bridgeport specific kit, I personally would have thought they'd be a bit better, and they'd have been able to work out a bracket, because if you sat here with some billet stock and made these yourself, you could easily make a set that was fully adjustable in 2 planes needed to be able to line the reader heads up and tram them in properly, and you'd be able to have 1 or 2 sets of holes in it rather than holes that don't fit and brackets that are too big and things like that. So this one's a bit better, so let's get this lined up. I'm going to slacken them off a bit. Here's the actual arm, this is the reader end, and this is what goes on here. This came with 2 nylon or plastic washers, which will sit through here. Let's put these on without dropping them. So one above and one below, and then one big socket cap head that gets in there. This nylock nut is sat in a nice milled out recess there, so that you gotta be careful you don't push that out. Let's just tighten this up a little bit. Got to go too tight, just enough that it's not going to rattle around you, but that's obviously wobbling around because I've got this left loose, just so we can get a level on here. So if I bring you this side, you can make out there how high up we're sitting. So I'll now loosen this off a bit more, and we'll use these grub screws here to bring the arm down and get it levelled out. So I'm going to sit the camera just there and do that now. Wrong key. Now if I show you, we're not done up on the grub screws yet, but you can see that's where we want to be, and that's where the grub screws come in handy, because they will allow us to tighten up that gap so that we can then tighten the main M8 socket cap heads. So let's tighten these up here. You haven't got to raw these in, they're only there to take up the play. So don't worry about going mad with them. Move that out of the way for a second. Check we're still level, and we are plenty good enough there. Just a little bit more on this one, I think. There we go, and tighten these. And that's it. So let's bring you back so you can see just a better picture. So there we are. There's the mounting point. We got some wiggle room on that. And there's, move that clip there. And that's how far we are. So you see what I mean about the readers. Don't get me wrong, I suppose it isn't too bad when it's going to be sat on there. Not too bad. Nice height. So let's move the table back and we'll get the reader mounted up. So here's the back of the display unit. There it is. And this is the rear side. Now you've got a tapped hole in there, and then it comes with this stud, and this is a lock washer which is threaded as well with a couple of flats on it for an 18mm. That screws in like so, obviously through the hole that's on here. So I'm guessing you've got your nylock, and then I guess you've got spring washer, steel washer, then we'll go nylon washer underneath, nylon washer on top, and then lock nut to tighten us up and lock us in here. So that's how I'm going to mount it all up. So we'll put you back on the stand while I get that done. It should be pretty straightforward. I noticed on A-Bomb's video he said that the stud tends to come undone. Now I'm not sure if the kit he had comes with a lock nut or whether it didn't. So if I just put that down there a second. So if we've got one nylon washer underneath, one on top, and then that's the locking stud there, and we get this on here, screw that in. This is a 17mm. There. Let's get that round down. Because what you want to be able to do, so that the problem Adam had when it was loosening off, I'm thinking that you want to be able to lose that play on the spring washer. It's a bit fiddly, and you're probably not seeing much on the camera other than the display, but once I'm set, I'll bring you around the back here and show you how we've got it tightened up and how we've got it mounted. Let's see if we have the same issue with it loosening off. Because yeah, the last thing I want to do is have it move every time I turn the reader head. Is it going to do that? I don't think it is, because we've got the lock nut nicely jammed up against the reader. So that should stay where I want it. So if I show you around here, this is how we've got it. So we got nylock, spring washer, steel washer, nylon washer, then the arm, then a nylon washer, and then this low profile lock nut with the flats on it for an 18mm. Now you need a low profile spanner to get in there, because if you try and use a normal one, it don't fit. So there we have it. Glare up there from the lights. There's the reader, there's the arm all mounted. Let's have another look from the front, see what we think. Not bad. Still, you can get your arm in there, but you're going to have to push this back, really, to give yourself room. And then when you look at that, it's mounted a fair way back from the head. So I think I'm going to do an extension that brings it out a bit more over here. Prefer it just to be on this side here, ideally. That's it mounted. Not too bad. See, even there you've barely got enough room to get your hand past that. So not brilliant, but it will do. It will do. And that seems like it's sitting down now. I need to tighten that top stud. This one here, we didn't nip right up earlier because this has got movement. That's better. Now we're level. I can come in a little bit more. That's probably about your lot. So that's where it's going to stay. Right, let's take it back out of this holder. Get the camera tripod out of the way. Get these last few tools out of the way. And then we'll give you a proper look. So there we are. There's the display. Put the spirit level back in my pocket. It's a nice bit of kit. So all we've got to do now, we've got to get the cables routed from down here, and I might come make sure we've got enough slack on all the axis on full travel, and then I might come under here up the back of the column where I've got the other cables, which is my mains cable, and then this one is the power to the switch, full reverse switch, and the power to the actual motor head up there. So I might come back up here and then maybe along here somewhere and then wrapped around here, and then each one's in there X, Y, Z. That'll do. And the power supply box, just coincidentally, which I knew I'd have a reader at some point, you can't see it's tucked away, but I mounted 2 auxiliary plugs on there, just normal 240 volt 3-pin, which is exactly what the reader needs, but the reader uses a little adapter box there to drop it down to a lesser supply, which is just 15 volt. So it's got a 15 volt supply, so this will have to be stuck somewhere. It could even go on the back of here. So I'm going to get these routed, mounted, everything where I want it, and cable tied up, and I'll use the little cable clips that they give you in the box. I don't know if there's going to be the right size or enough for what I've got. I might have some bigger rubber mounted clips where I could keep all 3 cables in the same one, but I've still got bits and bobs in here I can use. So I'll get them all done and on, and then I'll show you one final look, and I'll show you it powered up. See you soon. Right, we're back here to show you the digital display all fitted. We've got workshop supervisor in here today. Just check the job's being done right. Hey Ruby, good girl, good girl. What do you think? Done a good job, eh? So there's the display all mounted. The cable routing, so we got X at the top, then Y, then the Z axis, then this plug-in is for the power cord, and we've got the cables all cable tied. Loads of cable ties, I know it's too many, but the readers are cable tied with one lot, the power cord's another one, and then we've got the earth strap, which is from here, and I've got that earthed into this top part here. So that keeps all the cables nice and neat and out of the way there. And I use some of the metal clips they've got. I only used 3, and then they're drilled and tapped for these little M4 socket cap heads. And then same as the motor cables, dangles down the back here. Now you do get a mounting bracket, because this is the little low voltage box here for the supply for the readout. You do get a bracket to go around that to mount it to something, but for where that is and where the cables are, I don't want to mount it, because then that won't allow the RAM to go backwards and forwards without pulling the cable tight and jamming it up. So that's just cable tied there now. It's not going to go anywhere. There's no chance of it getting tugged or damaged. And then we've got plenty of the cables here for if we want to spin it round and move it on the turret. Wouldn't get all the way around like it, but if that's the case, for whatever reason I need to do it, I'd have to do something different. Now we've just got the excess cable. There's a few coils cable tied up here, out the way. I'm not fussed about that being coiled, because it's a 240 volt in, and it's only drawing, I think it's saying like 1.5 amps, 15 volt out, so it's not like that's going to be on its maximum rating and getting hot, so that's fine how it is. And we've just kind of looped up the excess for the readers, because obviously they're going different places, so they were never going to end up at the same length. And then if we follow it down here, you've got the reader cables hang under here to give them a bit of space. I could clip that up, but it's not going to get caught there, there's no risk of that. And then here is the separate power supply for the reader off of one of these plugs. So I'm actually gonna, might as well make it easier, and I'll put that one on that side. So let's fire it up. We turn the mains on. This gets turned on its own for the digital readout. That's on there. Main motor switch, that activates the contactor, and we'll put the power feeds on as well, and then we can show you the readout working. What I'm going to do is I'll just get a stand for the camera here to put that back, just so I can show you without having to hold it and shake the camera all around. Put that back in there. There's a, oh, nearly lost you, nearly lost you. There's a half decent view of the reader. So if we go on the Y-axis, losing power feed, and then forward again. Same with the X. And the other way. And it's nice. I can set the resolution. This is on its most accurate, but I can drop the resolution down a little bit if I want to, but it's fine where it is. And then obviously it's not a power feed, but finally we've got the Z there for the knee. So up, increase, and dropping the knee, decrease it down. So that's all well and good, all works really well. And then I've not learned all the functions yet, but obviously you've got, currently we're on millimeters, and you can go into inches, but 99.9% of stuff I do UK, we're millimeters, absolute and incremental, and then zero and set, two different options. We've got it in the zero function, and if you want to zero either of the axis or any of the axis, you can just press these. Then we've got function buttons here, function 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now there's lots of functions listed in the menu. If I just hold that up there, this gives you a quick guide. They don't do a full instruction manual sent out with the kit, you have to go online, but this is the general quick start guide, so you can go through all of these, have a little look. I've already set what I wanted to set up on here, like the direction of the Z was set the opposite way. The DRO was set up as generic, but we can set it to mill or lathe. Obviously I'm in lathe, I'm in mill, just to give you different functions like the bulk PCD. So some of the functions, we've got F1 to do pitch circle diameters. So if you want to do that, you can say, are we on center? So you'd wind it to where you want to be, and you'd say, yep, you're on center. So you okay on that one. Then it says, what is the diameter of the part? So if we said we've got 6-inch part, 150 mil, and then how many holes do we want in it? Let's just say we wanted to put 6 holes in it. And then what's the start angle? So if we're going to leave the start angle as 0, and then it will say go. So press enter one more time, and there it says hole 1, we need to move the x-axis to -75, and then we'd move to where we want, do the operation we've got to do, drilling, tapping, and then hole 2, x-axis -37.5, y-axis -63.55, and then so on, hole 3, hole 4, 5, 6, until you're back to 1. And if you need to jump back at any point, they're there, so you just end up winding them out until you get to 0. Once you're on 0, then you are on that particular hole. So there or thereabouts, you can get exactly where you want to be. This is quite sensitive, to be fair, especially using these round hand wheels rather than the normal ones. But yeah, so you could take that all the way down, get to where you want to be, and then you're good to go. If you want to come out of that menu, you can go back, and there you are, you're back to your normal display. So overall, let's get rid of this again. Overall, I think it's a really nice bit of kit. I'm really happy with how it come out. I'd recommend it. The brackets, you could make your own better brackets, to be fair, considering that it is a Bridgeport specific kit. I don't really find the brackets specific for anything. You could, considering that reader's always going to go and be mounted by the saddle, they're always going to mount this one on the side of the saddle, and so for example that one on the knee. That one's simple, that one's about the easiest one that works with all the adjustment. This one with a spacer block, trying to get it on the light, you could actually make that as one piece, there's no reason why not, and you could have counterboard so you go straight through into the reader. You wouldn't need to add that to that, because if it is going on a Bridgeport, it isn't going to change. So I don't really see why they couldn't do that. The mounting arm for the display, just try and get you out of the light there, the mounting arm for the display, it's good, but it could be longer. Or even better, you could have this and then another one of these, because that's an option, because that side there, this measurement here is the same as that in here, so you could use one of these straight onto there and have another one coming out. So I may even find out if you can buy this separate, because yes, you could fab one up, but it would look quite nice to be in the same material and to have a second pivot point, which would bring the reader right out here, which would be nice. Cables, they're nice and easy to route, come with everything you need. Obviously you only get 3 cable ties in the pack, but they don't cost nothing, so I'm sure everyone's got loads of them lying around. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting to use it, looking forward to getting to use the mill in general. Everyone's happy, supervisor's happy, so we're good to go. Thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed it. Like and subscribe. Feel free to leave any comments, good or bad, because I don't profess to be any kind of expert on this. I just like to get stuck in and do what I can. So if anyone's got any hints, tips or things that could have been done better, then obviously I'm already done now, but anybody watching this might be able to read the comments and it might help them out. So yeah, I'd appreciate that, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.